Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop chasing her, she starts paying attention? It seems that the more you attempt to approach her, the more distant she becomes. However, when you distance yourself, retreat, and concentrate on yourself, the circumstances shift, attracting her back to you. Why does that happen? It's not just a trick or a game. There's something deeper going on here. In today's video, we'll look at why disappearing can sometimes be the best way to get her attention again. We'll compare this to the ideas of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the power of self-discipline, emotional strength, and knowing when to let go. It's not about being cold or being elusive. It's about learning to value your own space and energy. When you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, you naturally create a sense of confidence that draws her back in. We'll talk about why letting her miss you while staying grounded in your own peace can change the whole relationship. Dynamic means showing that you're emotionally independent and not needy. By stepping back, you give her the chance to take the next step forward. If you want to learn more about why less can be more when it comes to attraction, stay tuned and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Click the bell for additional guidance on managing relationships with poise and assurance. First, let's focus on the power of absence. 1. We've all heard the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder when it comes to attraction. It may sound cliché, but there's a lot of truth to it. Let's break this down and look at it through the lens of Stoicism. When you step away from constant interaction, you're not just creating physical distance, you're also creating intrigue, mystery, and most importantly, showing your self-worth. Here's what I mean. Consider what would happen if you stopped texting, calling, and trying to please her all the time. Instead, you focused on your own goals. From a Stoic point of view, your strength lies in this change. You don't need her approval or reassurance anymore. Your sense of purpose gives you power, and your quiet confidence says a lot without you having to say a word. Now think about how she feels about this change. You send her fewer messages, and you're not always looking for her approval. You're not as straightforward to reach as you used to be. This makes her curious. She starts to wonder if you're following your dreams or focusing on your career. The air of mystery around you makes you more interesting. She wants to figure out the puzzle that you're becoming. Your absence gives her time to imagine the person you're becoming. She starts to notice qualities in you that she may have missed before she remembers what first drew her to you. Your wit, ambition, or sense of humor. It's as if she's rediscovering you, and this new perspective makes her attraction stronger because you're no longer chasing after her. According to Stoicism, we can only control how we react and where we put our attention. By stepping back, you show her that your happiness doesn't depend on her approval, which gives her a sense of self-respect. Independence and calmness are naturally attractive. When you stop needing to chase her all the time, she notices the change. If she used to be the center of your world, the space you leave behind makes her more interested, and she starts to wonder what you're doing and why you're not available all the time. This makes her more interested, but more importantly, not chasing her sends a clear message that you value yourself and won't lower your self-worth or dignity to get someone's attention. This is where the Stoic mindset shines through. You stay calm, focused, and detached from needing her approval. Focusing on your growth and goals, which you can control, resonates more powerfully than any grand gestures. Over time, she'll start to miss you and appreciate the little things that made you stand out in the first place. Your subtle confidence, the way you choose your words, the times you shared that made her feel connected, and these traits will become even more vivid, and she'll see you in a new light. This is the paradox of attraction. Sometimes doing nothing is best. By stepping back and giving her space, You let her attraction grow naturally without any pressure. You're not actively trying to get her approval anymore. You're just letting her interest in you grow at its own pace. Number 2. Understand your two, recognizing your worth. Let's paint a picture for a moment when you stop constantly seeking her approval or trying to grab her attention. Something incredible happens. You begin to stand out like a rare and valuable treasure that suddenly catches everyone's eye. The irony, by stepping away from the pursuit, both you and she start to understand your real worth. Think of it this way: when you were always available, always there, it was easy for her to take you for granted. She might not have fully understood what you brought to her life, but now, by giving her some space, it's as if you've put a spotlight on all the value you add. Suddenly, she's not just aware of your presence, she's feeling the weight of your absence. That absence speaks louder than anything you could say. It's the way you made her laugh when she had a bad day, or how you stood by her during difficult times. Maybe it's the little things you did, remembering her favorite song, or showing up with her favorite food when she needed it most. Now she's left to sit with her thoughts, reflecting on all the ways you made her life better, things she might not have fully appreciated until now. The time spent together, the inside jokes, the random texts that brightened her day. Those knowing glances, all of these are now playing on repeat in her mind, turning everyday moments into something she longs for from a Stoic perspective. This shift isn't just about her noticing you're gone. It's about you reclaiming your sense of self-worth by stepping back and not chasing after her. You're practicing a core Stoic principle, understanding your own value and not tying your happiness to someone else's attention. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate her feelings. It's about recognizing that your value isn't based on how much love or recognition you receive. By pulling away from the chase, you're taking control of your own narrative as you live life on your own terms, focusing on your passions, your growth, and your happiness. She starts to realize just how much you brought to her best moments. She begins to miss those times when you were her steady anchor, the one who brought light and warmth without expecting anything in return. Now she's starting to see your true worth, not because you demanded her attention, but because you chose to step back and let her feel the void you left behind. So while you're out there growing, learning, and enjoying life, she's coming to a powerful realization. You weren't just someone in the background. You were a vital part of her life. And here's the best part. When she finally sees this, it's like she's discovered a hidden gem that's been in front of her all along. That's where your strength comes from. You've stopped chasing, and now she might be the one looking for you. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you believe that taking a step back can truly make someone see your value? Have you experienced moments where letting go helped you grow or changed the way someone viewed you? Let's get a conversation going in the comments. Share your insights, your stories, or any reflections you have on this from your perspective. Might just help someone else on their journey. Number 3. She becomes 3. She starts to feel curious. Imagine that for weeks or even months, you've consistently reached out, put in the effort, and been a constant presence in her life. You start each day with a message to her, hoping to be a part of her day. You hang out where she likes to hang out, hoping to run into her by chance. But then, out of the blue, you stop. The morning texts cease, and the sporadic encounters with her no longer occur. Like you've vanished, silence has replaced your presence. What follows is a shift in the dynamics. By stepping back, you disrupt the familiar rhythm she had come to expect. Suddenly, her mind starts racing with questions. Why has he gone quiet? What changed you? You've become a mystery that she can't easily solve. This is where her curiosity starts to take over. This strategy is based on the Stoic idea of letting things happen naturally without forcing or controlling the outcome. People are naturally curious, especially when things don't go as planned. When you stop giving her all of your attention and step back, she starts to think about you. Suddenly, she's checking her phone to see if she missed a message, or finds herself tuning in whenever she hears your name. You're now the one who occupies her thoughts, not because you're chasing her, but because you've given her space to think about you. Here's the thing: the more you chase, the more control she feels she has over the situation. When you stop trying to get her attention all the time, something amazing happens. You take back control. No matter what you're doing, your absence has made her wonder about you. She might start to wonder if she missed something important, if your interest has faded, or if you're off on new adventures without her. This is a classic example of Stoic wisdom in action. Wanting someone's attention all the time is a form of attachment, and attachment causes stress. But when you stop needing her approval or attention, you break free from that cycle. Additionally, this change enhances your beauty because you no longer need her approval to feel good about yourself. People gravitate toward things that resonate with them. You become a mystery when you stop chasing her. It's not about playing mind games, it's about becoming someone intriguing who sparks her curiosity. By stepping back, you've made her think about you in a way she hadn't before, and soon she'll be the one wondering why she can't get you out of her head. This subtle shift in dynamics allows you to shift from being the one chasing her to becoming the one she can't stop thinking about. You become an intriguing puzzle she wants to solve. When you focus on your own inner peace and respect, you naturally become more magnetic. If you're always there for her, she might not fully notice the little things you do to make her day better. For instance, your conversations or presence may have improved her mood, but because they were constant, she may not have fully appreciated them. But once you pull away, the silence that follows encourages reflection, and she starts to understand what's missing and why she didn't value those moments before. This change isn't just a result of human nature. It comes from a key Stoic principle: letting go of what you can't control. Stoicism teaches us to focus on ourselves and separate our happiness from other people's actions, which gives us back our own strength. By stepping back, you're not playing with her emotions. Instead, you're giving her a chance to see your worth on her own. Think about it this way: if you always ask a friend to hang out, they may take it for granted by thinking you'll always do it. Taking a step back may make them appreciate your efforts, because they may wonder why you haven't called and why they miss those times with you. Spark. When her priorities change and she starts making more time for you in her life, it's not just a passing interest. It's a sign that she understands your role and is ready to invest more deeply in the relationship. This wouldn't happen if you hadn't made that space by stepping back, using Stoic wisdom, and letting go of the need for her approval. This way, you let her realize how important you are at her own pace. In other words, when a woman starts to refocus her attention and includes you in a meaningful way, it's a clear sign that she's not just interested, she's really committed. This shift in priorities can only happen when you stop chasing her and let her come to you. So remember that sometimes the best way forward is to step back, give up control, and trust that what's meant for you will happen naturally. It's fascinating how pulling back can make room for deeper reflection and growth in a relationship, but this shift isn't just about her realizing what she's been missing. It's also about you embracing your own power and learning to let go of what you can't control. It draws directly from Stoic philosophy to remind us to focus on what we can change about ourselves instead of relying on other people's opinions or approval. What do you think about this idea? Do you agree that sometimes stepping back can make a relationship stronger? Please feel free to express your opinions in the comments section below, or if you prefer, simply type "growth occurs" in the space between now and let's continue on this journey together. At point 5, she begins to contemplate. There's something intriguing about this situation. She starts to think about it. When you step back, something deep starts to stir in her mind. Your absence doesn't just fade into the background. It sets off a period of reflection that she may not have ever had before. It's like you held up a mirror, and for the first time she saw herself in a way she hadn't before. She begins to question everything, including whether she was too rude when she cancelled plans with you. Were her responses cold? Did her laughter at your stories feel forced? Suddenly, she starts to wonder if her actions caused the space between you two. This is where things really get interesting. Her mind turns into a courtroom, and she plays both the defendant and the judge, replaying past conversations. She goes through old texts and examines how you and others have interacted in the past, looking for mistakes. Did she seem distant? Was her tone cold? This is more than just a short worry. It's a deep reflection. During her journey, she begins to contemplate her actions from a fresh perspective. She goes through her memories and looks closely at how she behaved, how she felt, and how available she was emotionally during your time together. But why does this happen? It's because your decision to step back has left a hole where there used to be constant connection. This gap makes her question not only your relationship, but also her place in it, and this is where Stoicism comes in handy. By pulling away, you're practicing emotional discipline and detachment, two core virtues of Stoicism. Instead of acting desperate or trying to fix things right away, you've chosen to focus on yourself. You're not looking for approval or reassurance from her. As Epictetus wisely said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. You've chosen not to pursue her, giving her the freedom to come to her own conclusions. This change often leads to something surprising: self-improvement. She might realize that she wasn't as dedicated as she thought, or that she took your attention for granted. She might realize that she didn't put in enough effort, and now that you've given her space, she's beginning to change. She will become more aware of her interactions with you and others during reflection. That's the beauty of Stoicism in relationships. It lets her come to these conclusions on her own, without any pressure or manipulation. Meanwhile, you're fully embracing life, concentrating on your personal development and objectives. You're not waiting for her to come back. Instead, you're embodying the Stoic ideals of resilience and progress no matter what. These are empowering because you've learned to detach from others and know your worth comes from within, not from her attention or validation. Reconnecting with her will likely reveal a transformation in her. She's more attentive, appreciative, and maybe even more drawn to you than before. This is because your absence gave her the chance to think about what she could be losing. It's a mutually beneficial situation where both of you have experienced growth and evolution, resulting in a shift in power in your favor. Remember that when you stop chasing her, you're not losing anything. In fact, you're gaining an advantage by showing emotional strength and giving her the time to think and grow. This is the core of Stoic wisdom in relationships, letting go of the urge to chase and letting both of you become better, stronger people. Number 6. Up until now, you've been the one encouraging her to be competitive. Getting her competitive spirit. I was awakened by always going after her. When you step back, the balance of power shifts in her favor, and she's been able to enjoy your attention without doing anything. But what happens when you decide to pull away? She suddenly wants your attention instead of you chasing her. She realizes other people may be interested in you. This subtle change sets off a spark in her that she didn't see coming. It's not just jealousy. She wants to prove her worth to you and to herself. She wants to feel like she's worth your time, energy, and attention. When you stop chasing her, she realizes she can't take your attention for granted. You may notice changes in her behavior, like how she puts more effort into her appearance, or how she suddenly seems interested in the things you're passionate about, like your favorite music, sports, or hidden spots you like to visit. She's gently reinforcing your initial attraction to her. The intriguing thing is that the farther you pull away, the harder she tries to close that gap. But it doesn't stop there. She's not just trying to win you back, she's also trying to improve herself without realizing it. Her efforts to get your attention again are also pushing her to grow as a person. Not only is she striving to impress you, but she is also elevating her performance and improving herself in the process. This is where the application of Stoic philosophy proves invaluable. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-control, patience, and the understanding that we can't control others, but only ourselves, by choosing to step back. You're exercising these virtues. You're demonstrating to her that your value is not dependent on her approval, but rather stems from your own self. Worth this composure. This sense of inner peace is what truly catches her attention. It's not about playing games, but about demonstrating that you're content within yourself, and if she doesn't step up, someone else might. The irony here is that by stepping back, you become someone she finds worthy of pursuit, someone she didn't expect to be in competition, for her natural competitiveness kicks in, and she feels the need to prove herself to remind you why she should be the one to capture your attention. So guys, sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to take a step back. By doing so, sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to take a step back. By doing so, you not only trigger her desire to compete, but you also embody Stoic virtues like self-reliance and emotional stability. You are no longer the one chasing you. You are letting things happen naturally in this space. Either she will step up, or you'll find peace in knowing that your worth never depended on her in the first place. You are in charge of yourself, and that's where your real power lies. If you've made it this far, consider how these dynamics work in your life. Have you ever seen a change in someone's behavior when you stepped back? Have you ever experienced a sense of competition when the relationship took a positive turn? If it's okay with you, I want you to take a moment to think about how Stoic ideas like self-control and emotional stability affect the way you deal with others. Type this sentence in the comments. I let things happen naturally. Let's see how these reflections connect with each other. Number 7. She gets to 7. She gains insight into her emotions towards various situations. Understand her own emotions. Imagine you've been putting in so much effort to win her over, engaging in every conversation, paying attention to every detail, and dedicating all your time and energy to make her see you. Then you make a pivotal move. You stop not out of frustration or defeat, but from a deep understanding inspired by Stoic philosophy. By stepping back, you offer her something she didn't expect, the chance to reflect on what you truly mean to her. And this is where everything begins to change. It's almost like a shift in the atmosphere, a subtle transformation that happens when you're no longer constantly available. Suddenly your presence isn't something she can take for granted. When you stop chasing her, you give her the space to realize something important. Feelings that were perhaps buried beneath the surface now start to rise. This isn't manipulation, it's a natural outcome when you follow the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control: your own actions, your own peace, and letting go of external validation, like her immediate attention or affection. By pulling back, you detach yourself from the need to control her reactions, and instead, you shift your focus inward on your growth, your self-worth, and your inner calm. You stop trying to chase something outside of yourself, and doing so, you allow her the room to process her own emotions without the pressure of your constant presence. Think about it: when you were always there, messaging, calling, planning. She didn't need to think about the value of your presence. It was simply a given. She might not have even noticed what it meant to have you around, but now with you stepping back, there's a noticeable absence, and just like how nature abhors a vacuum, this space you've created allows her to start reflecting on what's missing. It's in these quiet moments that she begins to recognize the little things, how your words made her laugh, or how comforting it was to know you were always nearby. It's like pausing a movie, and now she's replaying all the meaningful scenes in her mind, the ones that were easy to overlook when you were always in front of her. This is where the real strength lies. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. By stepping back, your absence becomes the very thing that allows her to realize your importance. She might find herself reminiscing about a joke you told, or noticing how quiet her phone is without your texts. Every little thing she realizes adds up until she comes to a strong decision. Your presence gave her life a kind of value she hadn't fully understood until now. However, bear in mind that this process is gradual, akin to embers gradually transforming into a flame. If you're absent, she may wonder why or with whom. More importantly, she starts to face her own feelings about why your absence hurts, and that's the beautiful thing about it. This change in her feelings happened on its own. You didn't push her or force her to see anything, because you gave her the space to do so. Stepping back and letting her feel the weight of your absence can be the most powerful way to win her heart. She will be able to make her own conclusions about what she had when she had you, and that moment of realization will be so much more meaningful because she chose to reach out, not because you forced her to. That's the essence of Stoicism, controlling your emotions and actions and trusting that everything else will work out as it should. Number 8. The fear of losing your picture. This is the moment you stopped seeking. 8. Being afraid to lose. When you chase her, everything changes. It's as if the entire dynamic changes, and she begins to question your continued interest. What was once a pursuit of your efforts to win her attention is now that she's asking why you've stepped back. This change instills a deep fear in her that she might lose you. We naturally value something more when it suddenly becomes less available, as if we were losing it. It's in our nature to want things that are just out of reach, and by pulling away, you've made yourself less approachable. You've gone from being someone who was always available to someone who is now a bit more mysterious, a prize that's not so easy to win. She starts to think about you more often because your unpredictability makes her more aware of your absence. She might check her phone more often to see why your texts aren't coming as often, and she might even start to wonder if she did something to push you away at this very moment. It becomes increasingly distressing for her to consider the possibility of losing you. This is where the application of Stoic principles comes into play. By not pursuing her, you show that you control your emotions and that your sense of self-worth isn't dependent on her approval. You adopt a calm indifference to the outcome, which is a central idea in Stoicism. Instead of reacting emotionally or trying to force the connection, you stay calm and detached. This doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you know your own value and won't beg for affection. What usually happens next is that she acts out of fear of losing you. She deeply senses the change when you aren't doing as much. She may start texting or reaching out more to try to reignite the spark that seems to be dying. In a sense, she begins to rekindle the effort you once put forth, striving to reclaim what she perceives as vanishing. Think about how this is similar to Stoic wisdom. By stepping back, you give her a chance to fully understand the value of your previous efforts and what she might be about to lose. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about understanding how relationships work naturally. When you stop chasing, You're not playing a game. You're choosing to focus on your own growth, peace, and well-being. In this way, you give her the chance to meet you where you are, but keep in mind that this comes with her duty as a Stoic. Your drive should always stem from respect for yourself. It's not about hurting her feelings. It's about demonstrating to her that your happiness is independent of other people's acceptance of you. Knowing your worth and avoiding unhelpful things is key. When you pull away, you give her a chance to really understand your worth, feel your absence, and think about what your presence means in her life. Ultimately, the fear of losing you proves that you are complete without others' validation. That's where true strength lies. In the end, you should know that stepping back is sometimes the best way to get a woman's attention. This isn't just about changing the normal dynamic. Stoic philosophy says it's about recognizing your own worth and keeping your self-respect. When you focus on your own growth and life instead of chasing after someone else, you naturally become more attractive. This gives her a chance to think, and she'll often start to see the value she may have been missing. This isn't about playing games or manipulating feelings. It's about keeping your self-respect and letting your confidence speak for itself. When you stop looking for approval from others, you reclaim your inner power and project a calm, confident energy that naturally draws people in. If you found this discussion helpful, please leave a comment and share your thoughts. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more content similar to this. And if you're interested in learning more about how to draw people, watch the videos on your screen. Thanks for watching today. I hope to see you in the next video.